Hello students, and in this video we're going to work on exceeding mastery with your organization. So you've already demonstrated that you're a pretty organized writer and that you can keep your body paragraphs organized and on topic and the order of things makes sense. So now we're going to try and go to the next level, which involves a little bit more work. So let's take a look at what you have to do to get exceeds.
So the first thing we need to pay attention to is keywords. You want things to be smooth and logical. You want your ideas to flow. Effective and advanced transitions, that's really important. Using not just transitions, but effective and advanced transitions. And then the way you format your paper, sometimes adding graphics and headlines to break out your paper, subtitles, those types of things.
So like we said, we already know that you can keep your writing organized. This is just elevating it to like the advanced
The
level.
next level.
Yep. Okay, so the first thing that you need to be thinking about if you want to get exceeds is your transitions. So let's show you how to go from the boring transitions, like next, secondly, another.
We don't want to, these are the note lists. We don't want to see these types of basic transitions in an exceeding paper. These are transitions that are used by people who are just starting out in their writing or just trying to beginning to use transitions. They're really elementary words. We don't want to see these in an exceeds paper.
These wouldn't be examples of exceeds. Exceeds would have to go to the next level. So let's show you what that looks like. Okay, so one way you can start a paragraph besides like another would be to connect to the previous topic. So let's take an example, show you this example of a possible topic sentence that takes a body paragraph and it connects it to the previous topic. So inflation was not the only reason for Shays' rebellion.
So inflation was obviously the main point of the paragraph before this paragraph that we're reading now. So the topic sentence, the transition in this second body paragraph is making that connection to inflation, which we talked about in the paragraph before this, was not the only reason. And now we're going to tell you about some other reasons in this second body paragraph.
So inflation was not the only reason. The next reason is that Eastern Massachusetts bankers, blah, 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 blah. But notice how instead of saying another reason, Shays' rebellion happened, you kind of like connect it back to the previous topic, which is a little bit more sophisticated than just saying another.
Right. And it's rather easy to do.
Another thing you can do is use word pairs, which is a little bit more sophisticated as well. Some things you could do would be to say like, if this, then that, or whether this or that, either or, both and. So let me show you an example of what this would look like as a topic sentence. If you're going to be the best guitar player in the world, then you better practice every day. So it's a way you can kind of start a paragraph off by whatever your topic is here, then whatever you're going to talk about in the next part of the sentence. So if Shays' rebellion was going to happen, then it needed a person to lead it.
Okay.
So then you're going to talk about Daniel Shays and his leadership. So it's one of those word pair kind of combinations to get a topic sentence started. A final thing that you can do is use a brief quote, something from the text that's going to introduce your topic. And it's tricky with quotes because quotes are good. You want to always use quotes as often as possible, but you don't want to overdo quotes. So don't just use a quote for the sake of using a quote. If you're going to use this strategy, you want to make sure there's a reason for it. Here's an example.
Although the Articles of Confederation had many flaws, historian Edie Vibert Johnson was correct when she wrote that they served an important purpose in developing the foundational ideas of the United States.
So this paragraph is going to be all about what's in the quote here. Like you're going to give more evidence to back this up. But instead of saying another reason the Articles of Confederation was bad is because you're using the quote to kind of introduce the topic. Much more sophisticated.
Okay, and you don't want to do that all the time. Just once in a while when you're really making a point. If you find a quote that really talks about the topic that you want to cover, that's a good time to do something like that.
So you could use all of these strategies throughout your paper. You might have one time you open it with a quote, one time you open it by connecting it to the previous topic, like mix it up. You don't want to do the same thing over and over again. But for an exceeds paper, we're going to be looking for specifically, did you do something else as your topic sentence besides just another, finally, those kind of basic transitions. Okay. In addition to the topic sentence, we're looking at the logical flow of ideas. So like we said, you've already determined that you can group your ideas into paragraphs and it makes sense.
But now we want you to think about the order of your paragraphs and the logical flow from one paragraph to the other paragraph. Are you thinking about the way you're putting your paragraphs into your paper? Did you just put body paragraph 1 is body paragraph 1 because it was the first idea you came up with, or did you really think about the placement of those body paragraphs?
So some things to consider. As I teach, because in informational writing, the whole purpose is to teach somebody something, what should people know first? What should they know second? What should they know third? What makes sense so that it gives the reader the best way to teach them? There's some things
So
you want to
almost
teach
kind of
first
going
and
from
second.
basic to more advanced or something like that.
Yep. The ideas get more complex.
Right.
Think building blocks like over here. You don't want to start talking about something really advanced and talk about something simple after that. You want to kind of build in complexity.
Okay.
Maximum impact last, which I think should be a dodgeball team name.
Right.
But you want to put your biggest, splashiest, most important thing at the end, if it makes sense to put it there,
Because
because
that's the
gonna be.
lasting impact that when the reader walks away, that's what they're going to remember.
And then finally, what we should see in an Exceeds paper is that it's not just text. Good authors think about more than just the words. You should consider, would subheadings help orient the reader? Maybe you have a subheading about, the section on the First Amendment versus the section on the Fourth Amendment, and you call it different things. Are there images that can help add to my writing? Is there an image that you could put in there that would help teach even better? Do images need captions? So if you put an image in, do you need to put a little brief thing underneath it to explain what that image is and gives the reader some details? And
Does the title add to the text? That's
Yeah.
a really important one. Are you giving a nice title to your text that's engaging people, that's drawing people right into? Your title should be just as catchy. You want people to look at that title and go, hey, I want to read this. And then they read your intro and your hook and they're like, oh, yeah, and they keep reading. Okay? Take a look. It doesn't hurt to flip through some Time magazines or some Newsweek magazines and see how other authors use subheadings to help make their ideas clear, how they use images and graphs and charts and captions to keep the reader involved in the reading.
So again, this is Exceeds. This is more than we expect.
Mhm.
So this is going above and beyond to get to the Exceeds category. So that's it for organization. Thinking about effective transitions, logical flow of ideas, and adding formatting and graphics. Good
Go
luck.
to it.